Good turnaround Tuesday, Warriors. Who does the hokey pokey? Mike, you do it? Shahab? Steve, I bet you know how to do the hokey pokey. You turn it
Me?
all around. You turn it all around, Ryan. And that's what it's all about.
It's called the hokey cokey over here.
Hokey cokey?
Yeah.
Is
Hokey
it this?
cookie.
Is it this? That's what Greece is called. What?
Greece, it's the pokey pokey.
Anyway, I'm long hokey pokey today. How you doing, Ingmar, James, John, Blake, Bran, Shahab, Karishi? Are you new, buddy? Nice to meet you. If you are, you found the right place. Okay. Patrick, how are you? So I just wanted to start off with bonds. I see Grega's here. So, you know, we have a full house of guys that want to share their pearls of wisdom with you and some good ideas. Just wanted to start off with this because you guys know 85 is big. And all you have to do is look at the weekly to know how important it is. You know, it almost felt like someone came in this day. I think, yeah, it was Friday. I think this was the day the Fed said that they will provide all liquidity needed. Almost sounded like a flip. I see a couple possibilities down here that we could get a third drive. See this one. This one didn't confirm maybe a third drive, but if it breaks down under that, we could have sharply higher rates for the summer. Okay, so we've attacked it a few times. If we close under 85, it's going to be a big move to the downside. At least this range, you could at least take this range, which was 95 to 85, give you 75. That's still new lows. That takes out the October low. I think we're going there, regardless whether or not we have one more rally or not. Anyway, I want to bring in the pros. I'm a host, okay, part-time analyst, full-time host. So, Grega, good morning. How are you? I know you come here because you have some, have some conviction about what's going on. Usually don't
Wait,
show up.
Grega's here?
Yeah, I saw him.
I don't see him.
I did earlier.
Oh,
maybe
yeah, he's not here.
I'm hallucinating.
You might
Oh,
be. You might be
okay.
crazy, Dale.
Well, after working here.
Yeah.
No, he is here.
He said he will be here today. He's just not. Oh, now he just popped up.
Well, he was
Maybe
there
I'm
before.
hallucinating.
Yeah, maybe you're crazy, Blake.
Maybe I'm crazy.
I mean, you're in this business.
I know.
That's
I
one
might
sign.
be crazy too. Sorry.
That's one sign. That's all right, Grega. You're not crazy.
No, my connection is crazy.
Okay. All right.
So it's not
all right.
So
I'm surrendering my television set to you, and you could play whatever you want on the screen.
Yep. Okay. So as you know, last week we have seen a very strong move to the upside on US yields. At the same time, dollar is still looking very weak. So I just don't believe that US yields will continue straight to the upside. There could be some retest of the upper side of the range, but eventually I'm expecting that US yields will continue lower. So I think that this could keep dollar in downtrend, which is still very weak. And if we consider that this drop here from 1010 is still not basically in 5 waves. So in my opinion, dollar will stay weak, but we could see some recovery. Keep in mind that we have Easter holidays. This could definitely cause some changed flows here. Holiday reversals could trigger some pullbacks. And on top of that, we have the ECB, which we know is expected to cut rates. So if there will be dovish, I think that the euro dollar will possibly see some very nice retracement. But on the mirror picture, of course, I'm expecting this to be a wave 4. So now when it comes to dollar trend, just a second, sorry. It's face alert.
$14.01 billion, A13.6.
Okay, so now when it comes to this dollar trend, maybe it's not best idea to look at the euro opportunities up here because it's pretty extended move so far. So I definitely think that some pullbacks here would be very healthy. But now if we have to choose, maybe commodity currencies could make some interesting gains here. Keep in mind that we have seen Aussie and Kiwi making some impressive reversal last week, and now when we have stocks somehow stable, I think that those commodity currencies could see even more upside. But before maybe we go to Aussie wave counts, I want to look at some of these cycles here on a higher time frame charts. Here we can see that Euro Aussie is basically at the end of this bull cycle that it's now in play, since 2022. And if you look a little bit back, you can see how well these cycles actually played out. And those kind of crosses will not have constantly any real one directional move. They will most likely move in these cycles from one extreme to the other. And it's not only on Euro Aussie, we can also see similar here happening on pound versus Kiwi, which by the way has reached the upper trend line, upper extremes of this channel at the same time when we are at the extremes of this bull cycle. So I think that there is potential very strong movement for the rest of the year, or maybe I should say on the second half of this year, when I'm expecting that commodity currencies could do very well. But as I said, dollar will stay weak, so I think that Aussie Kiwi could have some very interesting upside potential. And on the short-term basis, we have seen a very nice reversal after previously we fell out of this triangle, and now this looks like an impulse to me. So even if we have just a temporary recovery, I think that, of course, this should be then made by three legs, minimum ABC or zigzag if you want. But we have this temporary resistance around 6,400. So watching these next pullbacks during holidays, maybe this one could really bring us to this support around 6,200. That would be quite attractive and interesting level, in my opinion, for a potential new bounce. So I
would you say that's risk on?
Yeah, I think that's a risk on. Yes, of course.
Okay, so where are you at on S&Ps now? Was 4,800 it, or you're looking for another new low?
Wait.
That's a $1 million question.
Yeah. Look, I'm watching this trend line, right?
Okay, see, there's the 4.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not it, Grega, if we don't hold that, we're going to 3,500.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 4,000, I would say. But
okay.
Overall, I mean, we have this trend line. We rejected these levels. We also found the support at the previous these extremes. Then, if you look at volume, it was one. It was one of
very high.
Yeah, highest in the last 2 years or so. VIX, we know where the VIX is. So I'm not, but I don't believe that we will continue straight to the upside from here. Maybe we will just chopping around here a little bit, but definitely market has priced in a lot of potential recession risks here. So I think that the next few weeks will still not be just a clear one road to the upside. There will be some back and forth moves, but overall, I would not be surprised if we really will stay in this range. And maybe this will be enough for Aussie to continue higher versus the US dollar. So I'm sure that you would be asking me about metals as well. But before we go maybe to some of it, I want to look at this one, which is gold versus silver. So we're looking at gold-silver ratio. Now, if you're familiar with the Elliott-Wave principle, and anyone who is here, you know that looks like an impulse, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is like a counter-trend movement in 3 legs that took us back to 61.8%. So if gold-silver ratio is now at the potential reversal zone, and if we think that there can be a move to the downside, well, usually in such case, you will see that silver could outperform gold. So I'm thinking that here on silver, we have seen a very nice spike down to 27, and I think that silver has a much, at least in my eyes, much better opportunities on the long side compared to gold. Even if gold will continue higher from here, I just think that maybe silver will try to catch it with this current price action and a reversal. By the way, if you look
Good eye.
if you look on a daily chart, basically that was a free wave movement. So as long as we are above 28.40, I just think that silver can be very, very, very attractive on the upside, especially if this gold-silver ratio will really try to stop there. Now, finally, maybe Bitcoin.
New highs.
New highs. I mean, yeah, everyone is waiting on new highs, but I'm not in that camp that
Why
confidently.
you got a 5 all the way up there?
Well, I have this, but I have also other wave counts as
All
well.
right.
But definitely we reached some very important support. We cannot ignore the previous old swing highs. We retraced back to this Trump level when he won the US elections, and now we're trying to break out here. So notice that basically when stocks were quite aggressively trading lower over the last few weeks, we haven't seen any extended drop like some would expect here on the cryptocurrency. So obviously a lot of damage and liquidations already occurred before that. So I would not be surprised if we will see a more upside, but I would be very careful with any kind of aggressive call. I think that 94 at least could be seen in the near future, and then let's see what happens up there. But when it comes to maybe to longer term cycles, it's not really surprised that we bottomed here. If you look here at the Bitcoin trends on Google, meaning how much or how often people are searching Google on Google terms Bitcoin, you can see that there was extreme here back in November, exactly obviously when market moved closer or even broke above 100,000 level. And now we are at the lower side of this sentiment, and we know what usually this means for the market. So definitely would not be surprised if we'll see in the rest of the year Bitcoin trying to print higher prices, not necessarily all-time highs, but at least some kind of a recovery.
Great presentation.
So any questions?
How about WTI? Where are you at on that? I know you're probably bearish, but
yeah, I mean, crude oil for me is still on trading on the downside. We have seen a break out of this triangle, and I think, wait a second, where it is? Here it is. Okay, and I think that we are here in this decline in ABC decline that could last towards $50 per barrel. This could be very important support and a round figure as well for this year. So definitely do not expect any kind of a major continuation. Let's say for the rest of the year, I would not be surprised if maybe the market will try to stabilize, maybe even before summer, and then starting to trade to the upside, especially if central banks would really start cutting aggressively and try to support the markets, and then this market will try to find the base based on supply and demand. So
okay. All right. Thank you, buddy.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Grega Horvat, you can find him here, all his work right here on the website. So, that's a big edge in itself. So, instead of just, Greg, I hope you don't mind, instead of just subscribing to Grega, you get Grega Plus, okay, Blake and all the other guys. So it's great to have Grega do that and share his work here. All right, so there's your gold, 33.20. Who's up there? Is that
someone it's TV running in the background or something, but it's not me.
Somebody's got, somebody, if you guys have some of the you gotta
looks like it's Steve.
Mute your mic. Here, I can mute Steve real quick. All right, so hey, Dale, we haven't talked to Ryan and Kman this morning yet.
I know. Go ahead.
Well, what kind of questions do you have for this? I can control the charts. You just tell me where to go.
All right, Ryan, sea legs back, highest conviction idea today.
Oh, blimey. Put me on the spot, why don't you?
One that you're positive is going to work.
Oh, I'm never positive.
I know what you mean. I know.
If I was always positive, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be sitting on a yacht.
All right, it's turnaround Tuesday. What's going to turn around?
No, I think a lot of our chat room are hoping for a bit of a turnaround in Euro Swiss because everyone's been piling into longs down here towards a 92 figure. I don't know if that's good or bad, or if herd mentality is going to win out, or if we're painting the big fat targets on our back. But
it's a little scary, isn't it, Ryan? I mean, everybody just assumes the 92 cent level is being defended by the SMB, but how about if it's really not?
Well, I'm not banking, and I never will bank on a central bank to have my back. There's only one trade, pretty much, in the world where you can bank on that, and that's the Hong Kong peg, either side, or the Hong Kong band, while they defend that. But it's a solid level. Technically, it's a solid level. We've had near enough three holds down here over the last year or so. So it's a solid level, and technically, when you get big levels like that, I don't see any reason why you don't give them a go.
Can I add to this? And this has to do with the Euro Swiss, because Mike's asking about the euro, and I think Bruno just asked the same thing. Okay, you take into account what I just showed you with the Euro Swiss, then you take the euro dollar, and let's not ignore the fact that the euro is breaking out. I mean, I have to go, you go to the daily chart, you go to the previous highs in 2023. We are trading at levels we haven't seen since 2022. We've broken the multi-decade, 18-year trend line. It's, some people were looking at this as a cup and handle pattern that looks like this. I'm Benedict. I've got my eye on you when you're, talking about this, and we still have upside here. Big breakouts all over the place. So you got the euro actually making the euro dollar actually looking bullish, and I'd argue while it's above 112.50, there's zero reason to be on the short side of the euro dollar. So if you know that the euro dollar is breaking out, then you go back to the Euro Swiss and you're like, okay, this is pretty key support. I mean, doesn't that just help build that argument that you're talking about down here? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt on all that. I just wanted to reference the euro since people were asking about it.
Yeah, no, yes and no. Why is dollar Swiss down here? The same reason dollar yen's down as well, because there's been a flight to safety and safe haven currencies, the yen and the Swissy. And that's also the reason why euro dollar's up where it's up. It's not up there because everything fine and dandy in the Eurozone economy. You only got to look at the zoo data this morning to see that. So it's always about why a currency has moved where it's moved. Is it fundamentally driven? Is it risk driven? And whatever. So you may think it's not a short euro dollar above 112.50. Technically, that's the case. But if we get a reversal of risk, is that going to head back down to 109 again? And the same thing with Euro Swiss. It was sailing nicely, much higher, and now it's down on the low, same as dollar Swiss. So it's a risk. But me, I'm just trading the technicals on this one, not really the fundamentals, not relying on the SMB. Kay made a case why Euro Swiss could go up on the SMB or go down on the SMB, depending on what they do. So technically, it's a nice big fat level. I'm not pushing the boat out. I'm going to give it a go and see what happens.
Okay, so you're going to give it a go down here, and since you just mentioned Kman, we might as well bring Kman in and ask how he feels about the 92.
Aloha.
Aloha, senor. Does that even work?
Nah,
anyway,
whatever. Everything
whatever.
No, well, I mean, there's a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, that level here in Euro Swiss, but yeah, I think, and I've been talking about those Swiss levels for a while. Obviously, dollar Swiss massively broke down from 83.30.50. But yeah, I'm giving it a go, and especially because over the past 2 days, I've seen moves in Swiss which were bigger than the moves in the yen, which is a bit counterintuitive when we talk about risk. So yeah, I think that there's perhaps a fair chance that we see a bit of smoothing coming up. But I'm not going to fight it if it breaks down, and I keep my positions relatively small. Yeah, no, the double there may be indeed an inverse impact on euro dollar from those if we see Swiss interventions, because for instance, when we saw that day when was it on was it yesterday or on Friday? I already don't remember. Where euro Swiss went up a big figure, but euro dollar came down a big figure, and that is kind of typical from what they would do, because if they buy euro Swiss, they probably will sell 40 to 50% of it via euro dollar. And the opposite is true as well. If the interventions would be buying dollar Swiss, then it's actually putting a lift on the euro dollar, because they have to sterilize half of the dollar purchases. So yeah, I mean the euro dollar is a bit of a how shall I say, a bit of a flip the coin thing if it comes to SMB interventions, because we never know whether they intervene in euro Swiss or dollar Swiss. And we won't know if they even did or do until the first week of next month, because that's when they produce their FX numbers.
Okay. All right. Well, at any rate, we know how big the level is in the euro Swiss. I have my stops down there too. I mean, it breaks through 92 cents. You can't stay long. I mean, that's just the bottom line, because below there we are at we're not at historic lows, because actually we would be at historic lows in the euro Swiss, not in the dollar Swiss, because
Yes, we are.
it isn't in the dollar Swiss, is it?
Yeah.
I think we are.
Really? Okay. I remember back here in the dollar Swiss back in 2011 when they pulled
Yeah, we
the
even didn't go as
The
low.
rug. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we didn't go down to 70 cents. I mean, we're at 80
I don't
cents
think
now.
so.
I
No.
mean yeah, I remember that. But you can see right here we were breaking down, and you know what? This was I don't think this was the
European
rug pull.
crisis.
That
That
was
was
the
the European crisis.
no. This dollar Swiss, this was after the GFC,
That was the European crisis.
or the in 2011.
Yep.
The Greek.
Okay.
Yep.
So we are, but so
No,
we've
so
been
we are,
down
you're
there.
right. We are not at historic lows.
Yeah, we are not at historic lows. Anyway, so there are other levels we can go there, but I could have swore the European debt crisis is a different time. Anyway, doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is it is under pressure. The Swiss franc is in favor right now, and alongside with the yen, which that brings us to equities. So Dale, we haven't been able to scale above 5,500 in the S&P. And I'm surprised actually on all the news over the weekend. Apple wasn't able to really build on those gains. We obviously know that the 5,500 level is big, because if we break above that, I mean, it's that I think opens up the door for more of a squeeze. How are you feeling about equities today? What are you thinking?
You know, I'm a little bit more. I'm not interested in them at these levels to do anything. If we had a pullback, some kind of ABC, maybe back towards 5,100 again, I might be wrong under the low of the move, or a close over 55. Or if you feel like trading, it's not a bad area to scalp the short side. But you know, I'm not looking for a crash here. A long time ago, and it's hard to do, I said that we would peak, we'd go to 48, 4,900, and then make new highs. My RSI work is saying, no, we'd confirm lows, but I'm going to go with that, thinking that that's the surprise to everybody, is if we make new highs, and that was 4 and now we're in 5. But you know what I like that's more near term and actionable is your idea in USD CAD. I started watching it last night. I'm long now, and that's shaping up pretty good. Um, showing relative strength compared to yen. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks pretty good. And if we get back over, I had an overthrow at like 9.5. It went through a channel line. You have a different one, but we could rally to 40.50, 141. It's a decent trade.
Speaking of which, speaking of CAD, we have Canadian CPI coming out very shortly.
Oh, wow.
And so
I did my homework, man. You know how I pay attention to all the news.
Yeah, we have Canadian CPI coming out in about 5 minutes. Ryan, what do you think? What do you have any thoughts on Canadian CPI? I'm looking at it technically, just as
It
long
could
as
be
the
a
Canadians
flag.
doesn't, yeah, it's a flag, but if we get it back above 140, it's not a flag. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll squeeze. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I think 140 is a big level because
Is that a
obviously that's
pattern in play?
no, not right now.
Okay.
No. And if you guys are curious, patterns in play, these are the patterns in play that we currently have going on in Forex Analytics. But there's way more trades actually in the trades room.
Yeah.
I just got long the Aussie dollar at 63.64 because the Kiwi's breaking out. The Aussie, if you guys didn't see this, the Aussie is perched right up against this trend line, and I'm adding to it above 64 cents. So that's kind of what I'm doing
What
there.
a round trip, huh?
Yeah,
That
and
crash was a gift to buy metals and Aussie and
false breakdowns tend to lead to breakouts. False breakdowns tend to lead to breakouts. So I'm in that camp until, unless we just stall and not make a move. But with all that happening, if Canadian inflation data is strong, we should get the Canadian dollar breaking down. But look at, and then obviously vice versa. But look at the dollar mex. The dollar mex is trying to break back below 20. Now, this is one of the setups from the week ahead video. Said, hey, a break below 2010, you want to be on the short side. I shorted the dollar mex twice yesterday. Ryan, are you still short the dollar mex?
Yeah, this is one of the only trades that survived the mess last week because I'd moved my stop up on my short to 21.25. So I'm still short this. It needs to get and hold under 1990. We've had several probes, but it hasn't held.
Yeah, right here. I mean, you want 1990. I mean, it looks pretty clear. I mean, we start breaking below that. This is what I've been calling as a nice rounded top, in dollar mex. That's a nice rounded top that's developing. And I love rounded tops because they're nice and gradual, but once they let go, they're done. So
where'd you get all this stuff from? You've got an encyclopedic knowledge.
Yes,
of all these patterns.
that happens to when you read technical analysis books when you're bored. Yeah, that happens. But now this is a good rounded top that has been developed for a long period of time. I think it's going to be a great rollover. You guys know I think it's like the top trade of 2025 is being long Mexican pesos, and I know I've said that on several occasions. Hey, we got I see Steve here. Steve, did you want to chime in anything before we have Canadian CPI that comes out? I muted him. So you'd have to unmute yourself, Steve, if you're talking. He might have stepped away. All right. Well, hey, Ryan, real quick, before we have this CPI, I asked you about Canadian CPI. Anything that we should be watching here for the Canadian data?
Yeah, it's expected to come in largely unchanged, give or take the odd pip moves. So obviously, look for any big variations. We might get to see whether some of this tariff stuff is starting to feed into prices, higher prices, which is obviously something the Bank of Canada is going to be focusing on with their meeting tomorrow. So just use this one to rejig expectations, last minute expectations for the BOC expected to go on hold. I'm looking at 138. 60, 70 as my level because that was like the 2-year high going back to 2020, late 2022. We couldn't up above that, and we're sitting right on it at the moment. So if we hold it again, that might give it a bit of a base for a move back up.
Very good. And Kman, we got just 15 seconds till the data comes out. Any last minute thoughts here?
Yeah, Euro sterling looking good still for another move to the downside, I think, for as long as we're below that 86 figure 20.
All right, very good. All right, data flash is right here. You can find that on Forex Analytics. Empire State Manufacturing came in better than expected. Look
Wow.
at the dollar CAD. It's moving, Dale. It's moving for you.
Yeah.
Lower, lower, lower. Lower inflation.
Lower inflation. Lower inflation. What does that say about the rest of the world? You know, right until the tariffs hit us, right?
CPI year on year.
Yep.
So CPI came in worse than expected. We are seeing the dollar CAD. Let's see if we can. So did we break that bear flag pattern?
139, 40, 45, I think.
I'm going to take half and go BE.
There you go. Well, you're at the top of the flag. I mean, if you can get a little higher.
Well, I
Dale's
kept
buying the ice
half.
creams.
I have enough to go to McDonald's now for lunch.
Woo!
Can I have a McFlurry?
You get a double Big Mac.
I did a micro mini. I'm kidding.
Whatever that is.
Huh?
Whatever a
11.
micro mini is. All right, guys. Well, hey, I think, in my opinion, the rest of the week's going to be kind of exciting. We have
Wow.
like Netflix earnings. We have TSM that's coming out. We have a couple central banks coming up. Tonight we have Chinese data, industrial production, GDP, fixed asset investment. Tomorrow morning we have UK CPI. So you guys should be listening to the Flow Show for that. Then we have retail sales tomorrow, Bank of Canada tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we have the ECB, don't we? Yeah, we have the ECB just before Good Friday. So there's going to be a lot of things happening. And then obviously we're all sitting around waiting for all the tariff headlines. So Dale, you have an interview today?
No, Dana canceled.
Oh, okay. Well, you know that. Okay. Well, we have a few.
And Blake,
Yeah.
Larry got a hold of me and said, "Well, the markets are closed Friday. Dale, do you have anything next week?" So he won't be here Friday. He'll be here next Tuesday.
Okay, so Friday is Good Friday, guys.
Yeah.
And it's Good Friday around the globe. So we will not broadcast on Friday. It'll be really slow. However, I unfortunately I get up early, and I know Ryan and Kman, you guys don't, just like take the day off. That's kind of what traders do. I mean, we'll probably end up being in the chat room. So if you want to be in the chat room with us, remember we have the Liberation offer. It is a 40% discount on monthly subscriptions. I was just going through with a couple of the other guys on our subscriptions that we have, and people that have been with us for the last 8 years. There are people below this price because we grandfather everybody in, but this is really like backing up our prices about 5 years ago. So if you want to be involved with Forex Analytics and have a daily cost that's about $3 a day, take advantage of the Liberation offer and do it now. It is a limited time offer, but we're doing it, because of the tariffs, and we want to help do our part. So take advantage of that and jump in the chat room with us, because on Good Friday, we may not have a show, but I'm not opposed, by the way, of doing a show on the
FX will be trading.
Yeah, if it's an impromptu, like we have to do a show, I don't mind doing a show. If the market's moving, I'll get out there and do one, just to get everybody up to speed on what we're doing. But, if you're in the chat room, if you're in the general chat room, this is where we're having conversations about everything. And, actually here, Grega just posted this chart in F.A.C.E. He was showing the Euro Swiss it's a descending wedge. But if you want to know
ending diagonal. Nice.
I know. Hey, matter of fact, Grega's here. Do you want to explain that, Grega? I know you're
ending diagonal, right, buddy?
I mean, as you discussed earlier, that we could see some interventions from CNB. I just think that definitely this pattern shows that we are in a very, very late stages of this impulse, and it suggests that we could be approaching the end of the current cycle, and we definitely could trigger some serious reversal still this year.
Considering that the euro is going to be trading at 125 by Christmas, that makes sense, right? If the euro dollar is at 125, right, Kman, right, Ryan? Is that what's happening?
What's happening at Christmas? Is they buying more ice cream?
The euro dollar is going to be trading at 125 by Christmas. So if that's happening, that means the euro Swiss would be at 108. Just kidding. I'm just
I don't know
saying.
what's happening in the next 5 minutes, let alone in the next 6 months.
Right. Hey, but Grega, this is a really good count. You know, if this is truly the case, look, you just help me with my argument that I'm going to hold on to the Euro Swiss for the rest of 2025 now. Um, but um, but hey, if you guys want to, you know, just be, this is our general chat room. This is all the conversations that are happening. And this is, you know, obviously that was since I was awake. So you go back and there's just everybody's talking about all these different, you know, movers and drivers in the market. And, you know, best place to be is in Forex Analytics, talking about these types of things and getting up to date on exactly why things are moving, why they're moving, how they're moving. And, you know, being in the trades room and saying, hey, I'm going to join Blake and be long the Aussie dollar at 63.64 while I was on the F.A.C.E show. That was about 10 pips ago. So, you know,
Yeah,
anyway.
paid for it
Yeah, there you go. Paid for your subscription.
for a month. Yeah.
For a month, right. Unless you're trading mini micro lots for McDonald's.
Well, you know, I'm in ARP. I'm in ARP, so they put some restrictions on me.
You're in
And,
ARP. No, everybody knows what ARP is. ARP is AARP, which is a, you know, 55 and older.
No, American Association of Retired People. I don't
Right.
tell them I work. Okay, I'm just one of the gang. When I'm playing shuffleboard. Anyway, guys, you know, when I say don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and you're making a big deal out of, oh, should I? It's $20 less or it's $50 more. I had a Good Friday a decade ago or so where I was diagnosed with cancer, and you know what? It makes money look like a walk in the park. So why don't
That
you
was that
keep
a
things?
decade ago, Dale?
Yeah, at least.
'Cause
I don't
I,
even, just like I don't know how many years I've been here at on Face. I don't know exactly how many years it's been,
I
but it's
remember it
over
was
a decade.
before us working together, and I remember seeing you on Twitter, and I think
Yeah, I
I
was still at FX Street back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
So, you know, that was a while ago. So really, don't make a big deal out of, you know, a trading loss. I'm paying too much for this, or someone got over on me and, you know, they charged me an extra fee. Relax, okay? Just relax and, you know, don't sweat the small stuff. And when you come right down to it, most of it is. And with that being said, great show, Grega. Thank you. Kman, thank you. Ryan, thank you. Blake, thank you. And we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Thank you,
So,
Thank
Coach.
you, Dale.
all right, guys. And don't
And great
forget,
call on the Canadian, by the way. Great call on
well,
the
you know
Canadian.
what? You pointed my eye there. You know, I'm telling you, I became better hanging out with Blake and the boys. Okay. And if I can become better, anyone can. Even you, Bruno, and Kit, all you guys. All right. Because I've been doing it for quite a while before you know, I think it's what, about 50 years now, almost, that I've been trading, and I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Hey, that was just before your apple dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Join today. Get into the community today and get ready for some action, especially if we're going to get some of the counts that Grega put up and the guys put up. Let's not talk. Let's walk. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, Dream Team.
Thanks, Coach.
See you, attendees and friends. Adios.